episode, we are celebrating March of the Monsters by taking a look at some previous monster shenanigans that we got into here at the channel. So, stick around. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. My name is Rob, and I am sorry to report that I am doing another rewind episode. This weekend just got away from me. Just different things, life, just got in the way of me sitting down and filming some full episodes. So, in order to get some content out there and hopefully something you'll enjoy, I'm doing another rewind episode. This time we are looking at various monster toys from around the laundry room. So these episodes are really old, and I'm sure you can see how much different things were back then. That's one of the fun things about the rewind episodes. I get to take a look at where my humble beginnings were, and you get to see just how much I didn't know what I was doing. So anyway, without further ado, let's rewind. Before we take a look at some of these monstrous plastic critters in my collection, the confession. I used to have a very large collection of monster toys and horror movie toys. One of the things I collected most was Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. Love the movies. I had many different versions of Leatherface. Up into the mid-90s, I guess, early 2000s, when they... mic's in the way. Anyway, everything from the McFarlane toys to like Mesco stuff, just different knickknacks here and there. Now, the confession is, when you're fastly approaching 40 and expecting your first kid, you kind of don't know what to do. And unfortunately, a lot of the gruesome comics and toys that I had in my collection, I parted ways with. Because I didn't know what kind of environment to raise a kid in, and I didn't want that kind of stuff laying around at that time. I mean, of course I regret it now, because at that time I didn't have my collection in the laundry room, and I was, what stuff I did have was in boxes stored away. So, I mean, as my personal journey has evolved, I regret that decision. And, I mean, I don't regret it on one hand because I have great kids and that's the end-all be-all of the story, but of course I regret parting ways with a lot of things from my collection in that time period. But first-time father, you don't know what to expect. But anyway, here's some things that made the cut, and let's just jump right in as I drop one of them. And I apologize for this head cold that I have. First thing, not really a monster per se. This falls into comic book toy territory, but this Scarecrow figure. Probably one of the best ones ever made. And it was the Shadow of the Bat, Tales of the Bat, whatever it was. One of the later Kenner releases from the Batman line. Year on this dude is 1997. But I just love how monstrous they make the Scarecrow look. He's one of my favorite villains because of how he looks. And this is probably one of the best incarnations of him. He's got a little, it was the rave at one time. His eyes are attached to a plastic piece on the back of his hat. And if you were to shine a flashlight, it would make his eyes glow. And always, I mean, it was a neat feature. Just a little added bonus. He came with a huge sickle scythe that I do have somewhere. I think in my big accessories box, which will be another episode of It Came From one day, where I pick through all the different accessories that I have for my toys. But love this figure. He could be a tad bit more posable, and he's kind of hard to stand up sometimes because he kind of has a club foot thing going here. But great figure. Great. Now in that same time period, of course, McFarlane Toys was all the rage. And there were some that were more rare than others. Some of those were the werewolf and the vampire from Wetworks. Now, to this day, I can't even tell you what Wetworks was really about. And at the time, we were just buying the comics for the art. And Wallace Portacio, he did a great job on Wetworks. Unfortunately, it's one of those titles where like 1 and 2 came out, and then it took 5 years for number 3 and 4 to come out. But they made toys, and these were, I mean, they're awesome. I don't know if you can catch the detail there, but great monstrous vampire look. Has the hair on there, these huge claws, cybernetic boots, that I don't even remember why. I mean, I guess it's just a cool aesthetic. But great vampire figure. And the werewolf is neat, very monstrous. He could go down to all fours and his head could go up. Weird shape. I mean, yeah, braided tail here. Very weird. He much better standing than in his four-legged look. And he has battle damage on him, like he has a bite there on his thigh, some slashes up on his shoulder. But, I mean, it's a monster toy nonetheless, which is why I love it. The comic, I can't even comment on it anymore. It had nice art. That's about all I can remember. Now, be honest, I never had these toys growing up as a kid, and I found this dude much later on. But Ghostbusters toys. This is the police officer that turned into a skeleton dude. And I mean, I love that. Looks great. Ah! Like I said, I never had any of the toys originally, but when I saw this guy out, I had to get him. He's in pretty decent shape. I remember him from the original toys and always thought he was cool. But there you go. What year is this dude made? 1988. Now here's some little nickety knacks. Now, if you don't know this by now, I'm a huge Smurfs fan. I'll admit it. I'm not too proud. Mouse issues. But here is a Smurf mummy. Love it. Has the one eye peeking out. Here's a Smurf ghost. Real angry ghost too. And a Smurf jack-o'-lantern head dude. That just looks straight up evil, especially for Smurf toys. Getting some shadow there, excuse me, but you can see that evil grin. And he just, I mean, he needs a carving knife in his hand to really set it off, but that's a great, great Smurf figure. Now, back in the day, before Pops were the rage, different things, little knickknacks like bear bricks, cube bricks, and these type of figures from, I believe they're Mesco. Let me check here in a second as I put this guy together. Because somehow his arms popped off. Glad they just pop right back on. Let me check before I shows you. If it says, it does not. But I have this Frankenstein, these little guys. Things like this were all the rage before Pops really caught on. You could find almost anything cast in little people like this, and a whole bunch of different companies made them, but I believe this is Mesco. And I mean, I just love the like 60s monster kids surf rat fink type art style for his face, if you can see, if it's not too shadowy. But I saw him and I just had to have him. I love the little furry vest. Like I said, it reminds me of the old 60s kind of art style of Frankenstein's monster and such, in that rat fink hot rod era of monster art. But he came in a 2-pack with, of course, my favorite if you caught the episode, a werewolf. Now, of course, he doesn't have any cool furry vest or anything, and he has a kind of not as stylized look. But very, very awesome. Let's see if he says, yep, Mesco. Doesn't have a year, though. But love this figure. And the last one, made by, wow, Sideshow, before they were the maker of huge and intricate 12-inch scale figures, when you could buy their toys just at any Walmart or Target. This creature from the Black Lagoon. Again, another monster that I just love. Great design, great movie, first one at least. And this little super deformed chibi-esque design, I mean, is nice. They did a great job. It's Sideshow, even as they were starting out in, this is from 98, they put a lot of detail and work into the figure. See here, replace my head with his. But awesome, awesome, awesome. And unfortunately, if I would have made better life decisions and kept to my toys, I would have had a heck of a lot more to show you. And I could, if I rifle through stuff. I have a lot of things that could be monster. I still have Godzilla stuff up here, and just different odds and ends, comic book monsters and such, scattered about. But that's it for today. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed that rewind and taking a look at some monster toys from around the laundry room. Now, yeah, I love monster toys. I wish I had a ton more. Unfortunately, I don't. But you know what? That's what the future's for. to patch those little holes in our soul with little pieces of plastic. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this, or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's new episodes. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad, and stay dorky.